You're surrounded by fake friends right now, aren't you? Smiling faces, loud laughter, promises whispered over expensive meals. They clap when you win. They call you brother. They tell you they'd die for you. But the moment your fortune cracks, the moment your status slips, the moment life tests you with real fire, you will discover the terrifying truth. Most of them were never your friends. They were feeding off your light while secretly waiting for you to fall. This ancient Buddhist story from the dusty markets of India will terrify you into cutting off every single fake friend forever. Because what you are about to hear is not gentle wisdom. It is a blade straight to the heart of your illusions, dot in the bustling city of Varanasi, where the sacred Ganges flowed like liquid silver under the relentless sun. There lived a merchant named Vikram. Vikram was not just successful. He was the kind of man other men envied. His caravan stretched for miles, carrying silk from the east, spices that made kings salivate, and gems that sparkled like captured stars. His warehouses overflowed. His home was a palace of marble and teak, where peacocks strutted through courtyards, filled with jasmine and rosewatr. And everywhere he went, he was surrounded by friends, dozens of them. They greeted him at the city gates with open arms and louder voices. They sat at his table until the oil lamps burned low, telling jokes that made Vikram throw his head back in laughter. They borrowed money they never quite repaid. They asked for favors and offered endless loyalty in return. "Vikram, you are like a brother to me," they would say, placing hands over their hearts with theatrical sincerity. "Whatever you need, I am here." Vikram believed them. Why wouldn't he? The proof was in the constant company, the invitations to their homes, the way they toasted his name under the stars. He felt powerful, respected, loved even. He moved through his days wrapped in the warm illusion that he was never alone. But deep down, something whispered. A quiet discomfort he pushed away every time it rose. Because questioning his circle would mean questioning the very foundation of his importance. And Vikram, like so many of us, preferred the comfort of lies to the terror of truth. This was the first chapter of his awakening, the golden cage of false friendship, one season. The monsoon came late and cruel. Rivers swelled with rage. Roads turned to rivers of mud. Vikram's largest caravan, the one carrying his entire fortune for the year, was attacked by bandits in the dense forests north of the city. His guards were slaughtered. His goods were stolen or destroyed. When the few survivors staggered back into Varanasi, they brought news that broke him. Vikram had lost everything. Overnight, the wealthy merchant became a man staring at ruin. Creditors circled like vultures. His warehouses stood empty. The marble palace suddenly felt cold and far too large. For the first time in years, Vikram felt the raw edge of fear gripping his throat. He turned to his friends. He sent messengers to the men who had drunk his wine and eaten his food for years. He asked for help. Small loans, a place to store what little remained, a word of support in the merchant council. Anything doubt the responses came, like slow poison. Some never replied at all, but others sent polite messages, full of excuses. These are difficult times for everyone. My friend, I wish I could do more. A few came to visit, but their eyes no longer sparkled with the old warmth. They offered empty words and left quickly, as though poverty might be contagious. The same men who once boasted they would walk through fire for him now couldn't even cross the street to offer real help. Vikram sat alone in his darkening house as the truth began to burn through his chest like a hot iron. These were not friends. They were reflections of his success. When the mirror cracked, the reflections vanished. But the worst was yet to come. In his desperation, Vikram decided to visit the one man he believed was different, his closest companion of 10 years, a fellow trader named Rayesh, who had always called him my brother in this life and the next. He arrived at Rayesh's home at dusk. The servants looked uncomfortable. When Rayesh finally appeared, his face was tight. Before Vikram could even speak his troubles, Rayesh began talking quickly about his own problems, his own debts, how times were hard for honest merchants. Then, with a smile that didn't reach his eyes, he suggested that perhaps Vikram should sell his remaining properties quickly before creditors took everything. One offer of genuine help. Not one moment of real concern. Only calculation. Vikram walked away that night feeling something inside him shatter. The pain was not just the loss of money. It was the loss of the illusion he had clung to so desperately. He wandered out of the city, past the ghats where bodies burned and the living prayed, and into the quiet forests beyond. There, exhausted and broken, he collapsed beneath an ancient banyan tree. That night, a solitary monk found him. The monk was old, but his eyes burned with the fierce clarity of someone who had seen through every mask the world offers. He sat beside Vikram without speaking for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was low, calm, and absolutely merciless. "Tell me, merchant," the monk said, "did you come here to die, or to finally begin living?" Vikram poured out his story, the betrayal, the abandonment, the friends who had disappeared like morning mist. The monk listened without interruption. Then he smiled, but it was not a kind smile. It was the smile of truth cutting flesh. "You are not the first man to be destroyed by fake friends, and you will not be the last. The world is full of donkeys wearing lion skins. They look powerful. They roar when it benefits them. But the moment their true voice is required, they bray." The monk continued, his words striking like hammer blows. "True friendship is not loud. It is not convenient. It does not arrive only when the table is full and the wine is flowing. Real connection demands something most people are unwilling to give: presence, courage, and the willingness to stand beside another when there is nothing to gain. Your so-called friends were never with you. They were with your success. When success left, so did they. And that, Vikram, is the greatest gift they could have given you." Vikram stared at the ground, shame and rage mixing with a strange growing relief. The monk leaned closer. "The Buddha taught us that this human life is rarer than a blind turtle finding a floating yolk in a vast ocean. You have been given this impossible gift, and you have been wasting it by surrounding yourself with people who drain your attention, your energy, and your presence. Every fake friend you keep is a chain that keeps you from the present moment. Every relationship built on illusion prevents you from tasting the strawberry while the tigers circle and the mice gnaw at your vine. You must cut them off. Not with anger, but with clarity. Not with hatred, but with the fierce commitment to your own awakening." For days, Vikram remained with the monk. He learned to sit in silence. He learned to feel the weight of his own breathing. He learned to see how desperately he had needed the approval of others to feel real. That then came the day of decision. Vikram returned to Varanasi. One by one, he met the men who had abandoned him. Some looked ashamed. Others tried to act as though nothing had happened. A few even had the audacity to ask for favors again, now that rumors spread that Vikram was recovering. To each one he spoke the same words, calm and final. I release you from any obligation to me, and I release myself from any illusion about who you truly are. Our friendship is over. Some protested. Some grew angry. Some laughed nervously and called him foolish. But Vikram felt something he had never felt in all his years of wealth and popularity. Freedom. Real, terrifying. Exhilarating freedom. He kept only a very small circle, perhaps 2 or 3 men who had proven themselves in darkness, not just in light. But mostly he embraced solitude. And in that solitude he discovered something shocking. He was never alone. The present moment became his constant companion, the sacredness of each breath, the miracle that he, of all beings, had been given this human form with its capacity to awaken. The Buddha himself once used stories like this to wake his monks from the trance of social illusion. He knew that surrounding yourself with fake people is one of the quickest ways to waste the rarest opportunity in existence. And now the same question comes to you. Look around your life right now. Who is truly there when the caravans burn and the fortune disappears? Who stays not for what you can give them, but for who you are when there is nothing left to take? How many relationships are you maintaining out of fear of being alone? How many people are you calling friend while they quietly suck the life force from your days? You are hanging on a vine right now. The mice of time are chewing. The tigers of impermanence are waiting above and below. There is a strawberry somewhere. In this exact moment, a real connection, a real presence, a real life waiting to be tasted. But you will never taste it fully while fake friends crowd your attention and drain your awareness. Cut them off. Not tomorrow. Today, the cost of keeping them is far higher than the temporary discomfort of letting them go. Because what you truly are will always speak louder than the company you keep. And in the end, when your time comes, and it is coming, you will not regret the friends you lost. You will only regret the days you wasted pretending they were real. So tell me, which fake friend are you going to cut off first?